Coming into the morning, we said if we broke out above 33.27 that we'd likely see all-time highs, and we gave targets as in to the tick. Stay tuned and we'll show you what actually happened. Welcome to Day Trade Like a Pro. It's Wednesday, February 5th. This is the review for the S&P 500, and we're mixing it up a little bit today. We're looking at a 2-minute chart, and we have prediction points on here. Now, let's actually pull this onto the chart so we can see what happened here. And I switched it over here to a 2-minute chart because I wanted to do a little bit more of a detailed breakdown of how the day went. And let me tell you what we're looking at here. The solid orange line is a prediction point. Those are our proprietary prices that are generated by our algorithm. And then we have right here, this is a blue line that's also a prediction point. And that's pretty much all we need to talk about right now. We'll get to something a little bit more as far as prediction points. Now, these prices that we gave we put these in the live trade signals for our members in there, and we had each of these prices in here, and I thought about not putting them all in there, but they were all relevant. They all came into play at some point in the market. So I'm going to walk through this, and we'll just kind of take a minute here, and I'm going to walk you through the way the day actually played out from open to close. So 2 minutes at a time, we opened up here and we traded down. We traded right back up to 27. We said coming into the morning that it was very likely that we would get a pullback. So we gave some lower targets for the pullback. We'll get to that in a second, but we're just going to look at what this thing was doing here. So right here, we broke down here, came back up, tested 27, actually 27 quarter. If we're talking about this tick or that tick, and then what we said for the first take profit area down here was this 18. We ended up probing that by 2 ticks down to 17.5, and then we bounced. And if you look at this, I'm going to break this down a little bit in detail. So what happened here was we actually came up and we touched right here, and then notice this candle opened and came back down here. So we used this 22, and then we used 22 quarter. So we came up here, and if this was where we were going to sell off and go lower, which is what we were looking for because we had this prediction point down here and we didn't get down there on this first leg. So if we're going lower from here, it's going to be right here. We're going to get this, and then this is going to turn into selling, and we're going to drop down here. We'll probably come back up and use this and then go lower. But that didn't happen. We sold off from right here. Sellers stepped in, but the buyers said, nope, not right now. And the buyers stepped in right here. And we ended up driving this up all the way within a tick. We said 26 half or 26 quarter. I can't remember exactly which price we said. 26 half or 26 quarter. One of those 2 ticks would be ideal for lower. And we got right here 1 tick from the prediction point, a tick or 2 above what we had given. Came down, stalled out around here for just a minute, and then ended up coming down here to 22 quarter, 1 tick off of this. Came all the way back up here. We couldn't break out above this. We said 28 half was an area to watch for, and really you can just see if we pull that in here, you can see that 28 half area right here, right over here. So we were definitely looking at that 28 half area. So probed up here a little bit, still no real buying happening. So stuck on the sell side. It said that this was only a probe in real time, said this is only a probe. There's been no real breakout that's happened anywhere. And so basically what happened next here was we ended up selling off, and we came down here. This ended up coming all the way back up. So look at how it's reacting on these prices. So This is a price that we're looking at. We really got to get through 20 quarter right here. That's going to be important. We really use this price back over here, so we're not expecting a big reaction over here. So 20 quarter is important. So what happens? We stall it at 20 quarter, come back up to 24, and then we get that sell off from 24 all the way down here to our target at 13.75. We actually probed it by a tick. And then we recovered after it bounced back up here and then came back down here. So it came here, came up to 16.75. Is it going to go lower? We did have lower targets down there. And we said, we weren't really anticipating this would be a big stopping point for the market. It is a CPA. We know that that's important, but we said that it could have easily gone lower, that would not be out of the question at all. So looking for a bounce from here, bounce to there, came right back. Then we came up to here. And then they stepped in and tried to sell it off a little bit. And they did get some traction, about 7 points or so. And it just could not get lower. What's interesting is how one of the things we talk about in our training videos is using a tick chart. And on our tick charts, we never closed below this area. So buying stayed in effect here. And basically what happened, we came up, we came down here, used this again, came up here, used this 20 quarter, and then came right down here again to 16.75. And then we came up here again to 22, and then pulled back down here to 18 again. And then what happened next? We came back up to 24. We sold off from 24 back down to 16.75. So, I mean, you just see how the market's using these prices. I mean, it looks like we drew this in afterwards. No, we gave this hours in advance. So here we had this again right here. We came up through here, and we said in the live trade signals that this 22 area would be really pivotal, and that if we could get above it and hold above it, we'd likely see into new highs. And if we were to break below it and hold below it, which we here, this was a real, came back up here, couldn't hold here. There's at least part one of our answer. There's more parts to it. We've got to get up above here, but here we broke above 22. So on a pullback, can we hold above 22? Not even out of the question. We could pull back into this area, but can we hold above 22? That'll tell us a good answer. So here we go. We have this prediction point, trading right in here, kind of consolidating. And then here we go, 22. We get to 21.75 and then 21 quarter. So we probe 22 by 3 ticks. Not a big deal. Not enough to say any kind of a break happened. Only a probe at 22. Plus we could easily have pulled back into even 18 ideally. Would have been about as far as we would have gone lower. Came back up to the prediction point. This is a big gap here. This is 5 points. So for a lot of traders, that's a really decent trade right there. Sold off again from up here at the KP. Just very important today. Held right here in this 22.75 area. And then here we go into the afternoon. We did get the break. We said 31 would likely not be all that important. We had 35, but ultimately we knew we had these highs up here, so we had drawn in these prices. You can go back and see this in the pre-market video. 37.5 and 36.75. Those are both prices we gave. 37.5 was the all-time high. So we said really we need to get above this if we were going to keep going. It's just an important price. But up above here started getting a lot stronger. So what happened? We got 35.5, and then look where the pullback is. It stalls out here for just a little bit. And then look where the pullback is. To the KP, to the tick, right here before the close. And then what did they do? They rallied up here a bit. They came back down here. The market's closed at this point. And you just want to see, basically, by the time the market closes, right over here, the high of the day was 38, 2 ticks above what we had said for the day. So 2 ticks above that, and we had the low within a few ticks. And then they opened up. What did they do? They pulled back down here to the CPA area, and then came back up here. We held this area, so we're holding up here. And then all-time high, we have a prediction point up here at 46.75. And we had this price. Let's just see if we can see where this was in here. Stay with me right here, right here. So 618, 25 at 618, we said the KP, we said above the CPA, we should be looking for the KP at 33.4675. That's right here, 33.4675. That's 6:18 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just to give you an idea where that is on the chart, that is right back right there. That's 6:18. So right here, we gave you this price as a target for the upside. Hours and hours in advance. Now what happened? It probed it by 1 tick, and then we sold off back down to 39 area, so about a 7-point sell-off right there. And then in the overnight here, now we've rolled over and we're going to start using the next day's prices. So we came up here, we finished this, that pretty much finishes off Wednesday's prices, and we're on to Thursday's prices. And if you want a little sneak peek here, so here's Thursday's prices, and what do we have? We have a prediction point, and the all-time high currently as I'm recording this is 1 tick from our prediction point. Now look up above here, we've got this 55 quarter right there, and then up above that 67 quarter. So big gap between here and there. And then I think we had 62 3/4 was today's price. So we want to pay attention to that. 62 3/4. That's probably something they'll look at on the way up, since that was the CPA from today and we don't have anything right there. So we'll cover that in the pre-market video, but really wanted to break down the day for you, give you a more detailed look into how things are working here. But hard to make that up. You're seeing it in about as real time right here. The market is using this prediction point within 1 tick. It's an all-time high. The market's never ever been here before, and we have these 2 prediction points here on the way up that are marking where the market's going to trade. And then notice it hit the high here, and it's just traded in between these prediction points. So not a surprise. I mean, if you've been watching prediction points or following what we're doing, you're thinking, yep, that's a typical Wednesday. And if you're using lagging indicators, you're wondering what kind of a crystal ball we have. So you can go find out. You can go to Day Trade Like a Pro. Also, click the link up in the top of this video. You can go watch the pre-market video and see that we said all this was going to happen before it happened. And if you're in the live trade signals, we will see you Thursday morning.